What's this? Another girly Pokemon? That's lame, dude. What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you put something as frilly as that on here? 2 words. My list. Anyway, back to Froslass. How could I not put her on here? I'll list a few reasons why I like this Pokemon. 1. Froslass has an incredibly unique typing, being the only dual Ghost Ice type so far. 2. She is the fastest Ghost type there is. 3. I love the way she looks. And 4. She's linked to Japanese folklore by being based off the Yokuni Onna, the female ice spirit. To me, that's far more original than a massive floating head covered in ice. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Glalie too, but to me, Froslass is the better Pokemon. I find her stats much more favorable than Glalie, even though there is very little difference. I love the folklore reference she has, and I just prefer Froslass. Why you hate me? Absol is a badass among all of the Hoenn Pokemon. Seriously, this Pokemon is dope. Being the only Dark-type Pokemon in the white color group, Absol is a must-have for any hard-hitting specialist. Not only does Absol look awesome, but his move pool is gargantuan. Absol learns the most moves out of all the non-legendary Pokemon, the total being 78. That's insane! Much like Breloom, Absol has a very high attack stat. In fact, their attack totals are exactly the same. If you can, you really should get an Absol with the ability Super Luck. Like I mentioned earlier, most of Absol's strongest attacks have high chances of critical hits, and with Super Luck, the chances of landing a critical hit are quadrupled. And much like any other great Pokemon, Absol is linked to a foreign myth. Absol is most likely based on the Bai Zi of Chinese mythology. The Bai Zi is generally described as a white beast that can take the form of a large mountain lion, distinguished by having 1 or 2 horns on its head. Seems pretty familiar, doesn't it? Absol is a badass and very reliable partner. Plain and simple. You should get one. Hailing from Johto, we have the famed volcano Pokemon, Typhlosion. Sorry, Typhlosion fans, but he's not any higher. But because I chose Typhlosion almost every time I replay Gold and Silver, I just had to put him on here somewhere. What's so cool about Typhlosion, you ask? Well, let's just start with his name, Typhlosion. Seriously, one of the coolest names any Pokemon can have. Second, Typhlosion is so far the only final form of a Fire-type starter that does not have a secondary type. Which may not be the best thing in the world, but at least Typhlosion can survive 2 fucking hits from Stealth Rock. I'm looking at you, all-powerful Charizard. Next, Typhlosion's move pool is very impressive, being able to learn moves from Steel and even Electric types. But the main reason why I put Typhlosion on here is because of his awesome name and the fact that Cyndaquil was the very first Pokemon I had. I didn't grow up with Charizard, I grew up with Typhlosion. While Typhlosion isn't my all-time favorite starter, or even my favorite fire starter, he still needed to be on here because of how much he and I have been through. Thanks for all the great memories, my friend. Next we have Nidoking. Ever since Fire Red and Leaf Green, I've always liked Nidoking. I don't know why, really. I definitely prefer Nidoking over Nidoqueen, but that's not the point. Let's name some of the things I like about him. First, he's purple, and if you've seen my Metroid Fusion LP, you would know that. 2. Aside from Nidoqueen, he's the only poison ground type, which, believe it or not, I think we don't have enough of. 3. His stats are more my style, being better used for sweepers. After all, Nidoqueen is more defensive than he is. 4. His move pool is very, very big. While both Nidoking and Queen have just about the same move pool, it makes more sense on Nidoking's part, as he is more offensive than she is. And 5. I just do. I just love Nidoking. It's not like I'm trying to be sexist or anything. I mean, Vespiquen and Frostlass were on here, and those are both female Pokemon. And, I better move on before this gets awkward. Next! Looking like a hypnotist's pet frog, Poliwrath has always caught my interest. Officially, Poliwrath is the only Pokemon with the typing Water and Fighting. Well, Keldeo is supposed to be the same type as this, but it hasn't been released yet, so I'll give the kudos to Poliwrath. Now, is it just me, or does Poliwrath look like something straight out of Mega Man? To me, it looks like Wily could make a robot master named Spiral Man, and it would look very similar, but that's just me. Also, there's something about Poliwrath's Pokédex entries that I really like. Let's take a look at some of them, shall we? The Dex entry from Crystal states, it can use its well-developed arms and legs to run on the surface of the water for a split second. Well, that's cool enough, but let's take a look at one more, shall we? Emerald's Dex entry says, its highly developed muscles never grow fatigue, however much it exercises. This Pokemon can swim back and forth across the Pacific Ocean without effort. Well, we finally know what Michael Phelps' favorite Pokemon is.
I must say Froggy! Shut your bitch ass up!